I know a
This
lot of
is
you already know Stephanie, but for those of you who aren't familiar with Stephanie's work, we'll introduce you during this live. Oh, Holly
this
just got
is
back from Arkansas.
this is the first time that I've actually made this in front of anyone.
Oh, well, this is the first time I've ever made a hot dish or
Oh, that's
eaten.
so
I've
great.
never eaten hot dish and I've never made hot dish. This is a brand new thing for me. I've heard of it, although honestly, I don't think I heard of hot dish until maybe the last 10 years or so. Source
I
of the
don't
word
know
I
if that is an awesome thing or a sad thing. Depends on how you feel about hot dish.
Well, when I got your book, I was like, oh, Trisha was like, what? Never had hot dish? So I had somebody message me, Robin, who's on this call. She messaged me and she was like, you've never had hot dish? I was like, I haven't. I don't know. I grew up in Colorado. We didn't have hot dish. We had casseroles. And that's one of the things I want to ask you about is the
Yeah,
difference.
there's a whole story about it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Anne, my other daughter, Anne, is here. Hi.
Hi, Anne.
Well, for those of you who know Stephanie but don't know me, my name is Rebecca Blackwell. And Jen Sharp from Louisiana says she's never heard of hot dish. So there we go.
Okay, Jen.
All
Here
right.
we go.
All right. We can be hot dish versions.
Yes.
So I'm Rebecca Blackwell. I write the newsletter on Substack, Let's Get Lost. I also have 2 recipe websites. You'll find them at A Little and a Lot and Of Batter and Dough. And I live in an RV. My husband and I sold our house about 5.5 years ago, coming up on 6 years ago, actually. And we live in an RV full time and we travel all over the country. And we've been in Michigan for a while and learned how to sail and bought a sailboat. And so now we're kind of dividing our time between traveling around in the fall and winter and spring months and coming to Michigan to sail here in the summer. So that's kind of a little bit about me. And um, man, I think I met you. I mean, like, I don't think you and I didn't know each other at all until
No, we
Substack.
met through Substack.
Yeah, yeah. So we met through Substack, and I don't know. So Stephanie and I have never met in person, but you know how there are those people that you can just tell from their writing and just from what they're doing in the world that if you live next door to them, they would be your friend. And that's exactly how I felt about Stephanie right from the
Same.
start.
I was attracted to you because you were RV living, and my husband and I have a camper van, a Winnebago, and we bought it during COVID, and we traveled around a lot during the COVID times. And now
Yeah.
we get out in it probably 2 times a year for a
Yeah.
week or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
And I was just so intrigued by a food writer that lived out of a camper van or an RV.
Yeah, an RV. Yeah, a camper van. I don't think we could do a camper van.
It's small. It's smallish. And then we're sailors too. So Rebecca, we did a sailing trip and Rebecca was like, "Oh, that's our dream." And I was like, "Well, you start by taking lessons." And she did.
Yes.
And then I was telling my husband all about you and Steve. And then like a week later, I'm like, "Well, they bought a boat." He's like, "They just took the lessons." I said, "They don't wait around."
No, we were like, we gotta sail. Yeah. So Stephanie just released. Stephanie, is this your third cookbook?
Second.
Second. Okay, this is your second cookbook. So I just got my hands on Stephanie's second cookbook a couple of weeks ago. I think it's only been out maybe for 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, it came out September 2nd.
Okay. Okay. So a little bit longer than I thought. And it's delightful. And I immediately wanted to cook a whole bunch of stuff from it. But I was absolutely drawn to the hot dish recipe because I've never made hot dish or had hot dish. So yeah. But Stephanie, for people who don't know that much about you, you are the authority on Midwestern food for sure. But tell
I
everybody
hope
more.
so. I mean, it's either me or someone else. I don't know. We're kind of having a moment in the Midwest. One of our
Yeah.
local restaurants was named Food and Wine Restaurant of the Year. Another local restaurant was named Bon Appetit's Restaurant of the Year. So the Midwest is definitely having a moment. I am a entrepreneur who sold a business and got a radio show about food. And I started talking about food, and I've had that radio show for 18 years on our local radio station. It's now a podcast too called The Weekly Dish. And along the way, I started a food blog at stephaniesdish.com because I needed a place to put the recipes that we were talking about. And then I started making recipes, and then I started getting more involved in. I was always a cook, but I'm a home cook. I'm not a trained chef. I'm not a food writer. So I was sort of struggling with where my agency was in the food space. And where I landed was that I'm an eater. So I have a point of view that's that of you at home, that's you as the home cook. And that sort of caught on. And I finished my first book that was based around our cabin experience. We have a cabin in northern Minnesota on an island, and people were always really curious about that. So that book was a May through September kind of summer book. And then they asked me to do a companion, which is this book, sort of the October through April cozy months, because in the winter here, it's cold. We eat a lot of soups, a lot of stews, a lot of braises. And in my first book, I did not have a hot dish. And that's what Midwesterners call casseroles. I don't know why we call them hot dish, but we do. And if you call it a casserole, people will correct you and say, oh, you mean a hot dish. So my first book, I'd be at book signings and everyone would be paging through looking for the hot dish recipe. And I was like, we eat more than just hot dish in the Midwest. And they were like, oh, yeah, I know. But like, where's your tater tot hot dish? So the second book, I was feeling like, do I need to do this? Is it time? And I thought, if I did do it, what would it be? And the Juicy Lucy hamburger is invented in the Minnesota and a very Midwestern thing. It is a hamburger that has a ball of molten cheese inside it. And then you eat it on a soft bun. And when you bite into it, the cheese sort of oozes out and burns your mouth. That's the hallmark of the Juicy Lucy. So I thought, if we could put that in like a casserole version or a hot dish version, what would that look like? So then I struggled with the idea of like, do I use the Campbell's? Do I try to make a bechamel? I thought about like from a home cook perspective. I thought for the most part, they're going to use soup. So just Stephanie, use the soup, make it taste good. Don't try to be too highbrow. And we ended up with the Juicy Lucy tater tot hot dish.
In
my
a
mother,
pan that is shaped like Minnesota.
my mother-in-law gave me this pan. And in the pan, there's different regional hot dishes for different areas. So
Oh, that's
the chips,
amazing.
the fish supper dish, the pierogi casserole, the walleye and wild rice bake, it kind of matches different recipes. So I put it in the casserole dish. I made the hot dish. I put the tater tots on it. And wouldn't you know, everyone that picks up the book wants to talk about the hot dish and they want to make it. So that is where
Well,
we
I have
come.
also never heard of the Juicy Lucy hamburger.
Oh,
Before
nice.
your book, I had to look it up. I was going through the book and I was like, okay, Juicy Lucy, and so we have a niece who's named Lucy, and we call her Juicy Lucy, and we didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's kind of a big thing. And there's a rivalry between which restaurant started it, but it is definitely a thing. So should we start?
Yeah,
I'll
let's do
start
it.
like ground. We start with 2 pounds of ground beef. So
Right.
this is my cooking apparatus that I use on my television show. So I have a TV show that started about a year ago called Taste Buds with Stephanie. And it started in the Minneapolis market. And just a couple weeks ago, it's launched in 85 different markets.
That is
So
amazing.
the funny thing about cooking in your home is, I'm a home chef. So I don't have I'm not even a chef. I'm a home cook. Sorry that I even called myself a chef. You're using your home equipment. I have to use a camp stove because my real stove behind me is too hard to get the angles.
Sure.
So we've really improvised with our cooking equipment here, but the show is now all over the United States. So it's fun to be able to bring Midwest cooking to the United States.
So I am assuming that a lot of people that are on this live are familiar with your show, but I know there's handful, at least a handful, if not more, that probably aren't. How do people find it?
Yeah, it's on. Um, it's hard to know exactly what stations have picked it up yet. You can
Okay.
always find it on YouTube at Taste
Okay.
Buds with Stephanie.
Sure.
All the episodes are also linked on my website at stephaniesdish.com. And if you follow me on Substack, each week I provide a link to that week's episode with the recipes. So I try to make it so however people want to consume it, they can find it. It's also on Tubi. It just
Okay.
kind of shows up in weird places.
In all sorts of places. Well, and then the podcast, of course.
Yes, I have a podcast called The Weekly Dish, which is a rebroadcast of my radio show. And then I started a podcast called Dishing with Stephanie's Dish because I wanted to talk to cookbook authors because I was just starting down the road of writing a book.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to people that were doing it. So I
Yeah.
think that's how you and I reached out to you to have you on the podcast because I thought cooking in an RV was so cool.
Yes. Well, and yeah, and I listen to that podcast religiously for sure. It's in my handful of don't miss an episode
Oh, that's
podcasts.
great.
I love it. I love it. You have excellent excellent taste in your guests.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoy the podcast. I'm really a broadcaster and a storyteller. So I love just spending time talking with people about why they do the things they do and how they got interested in them. And Substack has just been so fun to meet so many new people.
Yeah, it really has. I have had the same experience for sure. So,
Okay.
for people that are just joining, we're making Juicy Lucy. Let's see. Wait,
Tater
what's the full
tot,
title? Tater tot hot dish.
hot dish. We are just browning 2 pounds of ground beef in a little oil. I use olive oil, but you could use vegetable oil or sunflower oil, whatever oil feels good to you. And we're just taking the pink off. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 1 onion that I chopped up. And I'm also going to add 2/3 cup of diced dill pickles. A Juicy Lucy is your traditional hamburger, but it's got the cheese molten center. And they always serve it with pickles, ketchup, and mustard. So we're trying to create those flavors in our base mixture.
Well, and
So
I'm not adding pickles to the mixture right now because I was not paying close enough attention to how many people in my house were eating the pickles.
this happens to me when I'm doing my TV show because I do all the shopping for the show. And I lay everything out on like sheet pans that morning. And we
Yeah.
usually do like 3 or 4 recipes an episode. And honestly, no matter how hard I try, I always forget something or I have to like I might not have chili powder, so I have to use paprika or something that looks like it.
Yep. So I did have enough to cut them up into chips to put on the
Yep.
top, but I had to choose one or the other.
Okay.
They either go in the mixture or they go on top. I don't have enough for both. So there we go.
I want to say too, I have also done this with jalapenos, pickled jalapenos. I
Yeah,
really like
but that's
spicy
so good.
things. So that would be a good substitution if you're out of pickles.
What about like I almost chopped up some banana peppers. Like the
Oh,
pickled
sure.
banana peppers.
Yeah.
That would be
Like
good, right?
pepperoncini.
So I
Yeah.
have some of those. Yeah.
You could
yeah.
even, if you're like a Chicagoland person and you have jardinera, you could use that. It's a
Ah,
little going to be different. It's going to be more like hot Italian beef hot dish,
yeah.
but you know,
That would
do
be
you.
good.
All right. So my ground beef is pretty good here. Our seasonings are going to be, oh, I forgot to add the garlic, and I always add that last. I don't know who decided that when you add onions to something, you add the garlic because I think the garlic always burns.
It's true.
I wait and usually add it as like my last step right before I add the seasonings.
Yeah, because it only needs a minute or two.
Yeah, and I feel like people always burn garlic. So, okay, I've added my garlic. I'm now going to add some seasonings. I've got kosher salt, about a teaspoon. I've got smoked paprika, about another teaspoon. I've got some pepper. I mean, this is not a fancy dish. There's not a lot of fancy seasonings. When you cook with my cookbook, I had a rule that everything had to be available from my local grocery store at the cabin, which is a really small family owned store.
Oh, that's
So I've
great.
just kind of kept with that because I think people don't want things with super complicated ingredients anymore. It just, if you're doing like weeknight cooking or dinner party cooking, fine. But for most everyday things, you want it to be pretty simple.
Yeah, so I'll show you all later, but I have one of these in the oven so that you could see what it looks like when it's all the way done. And so I made it before we started this, and it only took a few minutes. It's very fast.
Yeah, it goes fast.
Crazy
So
easy. Yeah.
I just added a quarter cup of mustard and I'm going to also add ketchup. So I'm going to add a half a cup of ketchup. And I want to tell you, this is really like no other recipe in my book. My other recipes are a little healthier, cozy. There are comfort food, but it is not a book that's full of hot dishes and weird ingredients.
So Stuart says hi to both of us, Miss Blackwell and Miss Hansen. Hi, Stuart.
Hello, Stuart. I'm blind, Stuart, so I can't see any of the comments, but Rebecca's doing a good job for me.
So
Okay.
I want to hear, well, okay, tell us the next thing, and then I want to hear the history of hot dish.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead. You're going to add a can of Campbell's cheddar cheese soup and a can of cream of something. Now, in my book, I have cream of chicken, but sometimes if I can find it, I'll use cream of jalapeno, which is what I happen to have here today because I like it a little spicy. Could be cream of mushroom. Oh, you had cream of jalapeno too?
Yeah,
You found it.
I didn't know
They
this
don't really have
existed.
it in the Midwest, Rebecca.
I
It's
I
hard to
did
find here.
not know it existed. I really didn't. I saw that in the ingredient list and I was like, "What?" But there it was, right on the shelf.
Well, and if I'm being honest, when I do this part, I kind of gag a little bit because I really hate cooking with prepared foods. But I wanted the recipe to taste like the real burger. So such is
There you
life.
go.
So I'm just stirring the cheese soup and the cream of soup in here. And you're
I
getting
also
a real like
I thought this
cheeseburgery consistency.
yeah.
I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's kind of red, kind of yellow, kind
Yeah, I
of.
wouldn't want to try and photograph it, that's for sure.
Okay, and that's the base. So we're done with that.
Stephanie, I thought it was funny that my cheddar cheese soup says it's healthy. It says it's heart healthy.
You know what that means? It has like, because these things are just full of salt, right?
Right.
That's why they taste good. So the heart healthy ones, they take out a little less salt.
I got a
So,
kick out of that.
and you'll notice I didn't use a lot of salt because the soups are so salty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So from here, I'm just going to reset a little bit by moving my cooktop because now we are into the assembly portion of the dish.
Yes. And I mean,
And
we've only been cooking for a couple of minutes, so
yeah, it
very
comes
fast.
together quick. So I've got my fancy Minnesota shaped casserole dish.
I
You could
love
use a
it.
Pyrex. You could even like use what we cooked in and you could just lay the tater tots right on top. But what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this to our bowl and try not to burn ourselves all at the same time. Okay, it's making a really gross, sloppy sloshing sound. Don't be surprised.
Well, and I'm making so the recipe makes like a 9 by 13 pan, and I'm making a half recipe.
Yep.
And that was super easy. So, but I do have a question for you.
Sure.
If you were making a half recipe, in a square pan, and you only wanted to use one can of soup, which one would you choose?
Cheese.
Okay, there we go.
It's a juicy Lucy. The juicy is the cheese part.
Beautiful.
Okay. So from here, we're still going for our flavor of hamburger-ish. So we're going to take sliced pickle chips. You can slice them yourself or buy them. And we're going to lay them down. Oh, you have an overhead camera. I have one, but I didn't turn it on.
Well,
This is very fancy.
I'm just turning my phone from one angle to the next.
I mean, Rebecca, you're so good at
I
all
know.
of your tech.
It's not actually, here's the secret. It's not actually me. It's my husband.
Oh, see, mine's never home. He's always on the road in the van, so I'm always alone. It's like, here, help me. Okay, so we're
Yeah.
just laying all of the pickled chips down to cover, and I gotta just drain this a little bit. Also, by the way, you guys save your pickle juice. I don't know if you know this, but it makes great salad dressing. It tenderizes meats. I use it to make fried chicken.
I did not know this. I threw out my pickle juice earlier today. I'm gonna have to
Oh
find the
no, it's
the
like
pickle juice.
gold.
Oh,
It is
I've
like
never
gold.
used it in things.
I have a
Amazing.
recipe coming up on my show where we make fried chicken and biscuits. And I brine the chicken in the pickle juice.
Idea.
So I've got all my pickles laid in, but now we need like something to glue the tops to, right? Because they're not going to stick on the pickle chips. So we've got 2 cups of cheese. And we're going to put the cheese down, and then we're going to put the tots on top. The cheese is going to act as the glue that's going to hold them down. There is a little bit of tech here.
And also, like, is there such thing as a is there such thing as a hot dish without cheese?
I mean, probably. Oh, doesn't tuna, like tuna hot dish doesn't have cheese, does it? It just has like potato chips on top.
Okay. So we have
Or
to yeah, we have to talk about what the requirements are for like what makes it hot dish and what doesn't.
okay, while we're doing that, I'm just using a bag of crispy crowns or tater tots,
Yep.
whatever
Same.
you feel like doing, and you're just laying them on the top of your casserole dish in a nice sort of symmetrical pattern. So what I think makes a hot dish is the cream of something,
Okay.
and usually like some kind of protein and a vegetable and a topping. So the topping could be biscuit, it could be, in this case, tater tots. It
Okay.
could be mashed potatoes. It could be sweet potatoes. Could be potato chips,
Okay.
Doritos.
So hot dish really is just so that was my like I was like, well, what's the difference? I mean, like growing up in Colorado, we had a lot of casseroles, but I was like,
They're
what's
the
the
same.
difference between they're the same.
It's
Okay.
just regionality of what you call it.
I thought they had to have tater tots because everybody that I have talked to now that when I said I was going to make this and I talked to people who were like shocked and appalled that I didn't know what hot dish was. They were like they always mention tater tots.
Yeah, it is like because the quintessential Midwestern dish is tater tot wild rice hot dish.
Oh, okay.
But like technically, I mean, you can make a green bean casserole as like at Thanksgiving time as a hot
Yeah.
dish.
Yeah.
And people, like a lot of Lutherans live in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So they're always showing up at church things and bringing like their casserole or their hot dish. So when someone dies in the Midwest, you gather at the church And then after the service, everybody has their dish that they bring to share, right? So
Okay.
many funerals end in a potluck at the church. And I
Okay.
don't know if that's where the hot dish originated, but it's certainly you see them there often.
Okay.
Okay,
There we go.
so our vessel is filled. It is layered with all of our pretty tater tots. I have my oven preheated to 375. I'm going to go ahead and stick this in there. And I'm going to put it in for, I think it's 20 minutes. And then I brush it with um, olive oil just to make sure that the tots get really brown and crispy. And then I'll finish it for 10 more minutes. So she's going in.
All right. Dun dun dun. Okay, so I'm gonna read a couple of these comments here. Um, Lori Olson White said the difference is hot dishes Minnesota, kind of like the difference between duck duck gray duck and duck duck goose.
For
Okay.
sure. Do you know about that?
No, I don't know about that.
In the Midwest, we always say duck, duck, gray duck. And everywhere else, they say duck, duck, goose. And I don't even know why, but people wear it on t-shirts. It's kind of a thing.
That's amazing. Okay, I did not know that. Um, Somebody says, KKT says, this is comfort food. Love the cheeseburger version. Yes, this is comfort food. But I feel like, so, I mean, like we call them casseroles, of course, but I feel like casseroles are like prime comfort food for sure.
Yeah. And, you're in the Midwest, like in the actual wintertime. Hold on one second. I'm going to set my
Yeah,
timer.
yeah, yeah.
In the actual wintertime here, it is dark at 4:15.
Right?
So you're like a mole living in this world of dark coldness. And you're looking for like cozy ways to be in the winter. And a lot of times the way to get through winter is to go outside, but it's cold.
Okay.
Like you got to get outside in order to survive the winter here. You have to pick up a sport or you
Yeah.
have to walk outside, and you really have to find a way to get outside and embrace it. Because if you don't, you're spending literally 5 months inside, which can be challenging.
Yes.
So all the your body craves carbohydrates
Yeah.
when you're cold. And that's a real thing. And for those of us in the Midwest, it'll start in about October, where
Yeah.
all we want to eat is potatoes and soup. And it
Yeah.
is a real function of your body, kind of like getting ready for this like seasonal change. Just
Yeah.
like in the summertime, about after Memorial Day, everybody wants to eat vegetables and salad.
Right.
Excuse me. So, yeah, that's kind of why we're eating cozy comfort foods. And the book goes by months. So there's October recipes, November recipes, December recipes, a lot of holiday. And
Yeah.
then January, February, March. This here's in February
Yep.
because it's cold. And
Yep.
other than the Super Bowl, there's really not much happening. The only good thing in February is that it's only 28 days.
I agree with you totally.
Because
And
by
also,
then you're
like
just,
a diet of potatoes and soup for months at a time sounds perfectly lovely.
yes.
I am on board with that. John says, how do you work with herbs and spices when a dish calls for a small amount of perhaps rosemary and you don't want to buy a bunch, not knowing when you'll be making that recipe again?
Okay. So I'm a gardener and I'm big in preserving herbs. So let's say you have to buy rosemary for something. Use the amount that you're going to use, then take the rest of the rosemary and put it in a blender with salt and you just blend it. So you use like a 2-to-1. And you then have rosemary salt. And when you blend it, the oils are released from the herbs. So you can kind of use that in replacement of your rosemary down the road in many dishes.
That's
There
great
are
idea.
times when your fresh herbs just need to be used, but
Sure.
for a lot of things, you can just substitute. Also, you can freeze herbs. So if you like are buying thyme, for instance, there's no reason that you use your little bit of thyme. You can either make a thyme salt or you can just strip those leaves off and you can put them in the freezer with a little bit of water in an ice cube. freeze it, and then you have fresh, because as soon as it thaws out, it's fresh-ish. It
Yes.
changes color a little bit, but no one's gonna know in your recipes.
No, right, especially when you're putting it in the middle in a soup or something like that or in a hot dish.
Yep. You
Yeah,
can
that's
also,
great.
like, make broth cubes with different herbs in them, so if you're, like, making soups or stews, and honestly, if I'm super lazy sometimes, I just throw the herbs in a plastic bag in the freezer, and I
I've
deal
done
with
that
them later.
before. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've done that before and it works perfectly well. Yeah.
Yes.
Not Trisha, Trish Reed says, I make the original tater tot hot dish with no cheese. I don't believe the original should have cheese. Okay, tell me about this. There's some controversy here about what's the original hot dish with no cheese.
I mean, everyone's original, I think, typically has cream of chicken and cream of mushroom soup. It might have the vegetable medley, the frozen vegetables.
Okay.
It might have chicken in it, and you
Okay.
could just use like poached or rotisserie chicken. And then they don't use cheese. They'll use like a mashed potato to top it, a tater tot to top it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
a lot of people have added cheese over the years, just depends. And if you were going to add cheese, I think that it's nice to have something to glue the tops down. But if you lay them right on top of the cream of something, then they kind of meld into that creamy top too. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of preference.
My husband's favorite Thanksgiving dish is green bean casserole. And I always add cheese. Always, always, always. People don't always, and I think it desperately needs it. But all this time I've been making hot dish and I didn't know
Yeah.
that
And
that's
you
what it
could
was.
easily, if he loves that so much, you could add ground hamburger, ground pork, or pulled
I've added
chicken.
chicken. Yeah, I've added chicken
And
and we've had that for a meal. And it uses a can of cream and mushroom soup.
cream of something, and you're gonna use sage instead of, like, the smoked paprika, you're gonna use
Yeah.
those Thanksgiving herbs. You
Yeah.
could add mashed potatoes on the top, you could do tater tots, you could even do, like, a biscuit topping, that would be
Oh, that'd
delicious.
be delicious.
Mhm. I have a chicken and biscuits in my book, and I really wanted to do something different than just white potatoes because the whole dish becomes just purely white. Um,
Yeah.
so I use sweet potatoes and carrots as the primary vegetable. So it's very orange, it's very autumnal, and it's got the chicken. I make a nice gravy, and then I put the drop dumplings on the top and finish baking it.
That sounds great.
It's so good.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah,
So
it
I
is
I make
delicious.
a chicken pot pie with, biscuit, like a drop biscuit topping, very similar, and yeah, it's exactly the type of thing that I wanna eat in the middle of winter when it's dark at 4:30.
In my first book, I had chicken pot pie 2 ways because I
Yeah,
make it just like you said. But then
yeah,
I also think, like, sometimes for a weeknight or if you're not comfortable with, like, doughy things, because some people just freak out when they have to bake,
yeah.
then you just cut out a puff pastry top
Oh,
of the
sure,
same size as your pan,
sure.
create some vent holes like you would a pie, and then just lay it in there or even lay it over and kinda crimp it
Mhm.
underneath, and then you brush it with butter and you bake it, and you get that really delicious crispy top, but you don't have to deal with the dumpling piece. Because
Yeah,
some
that's great.
people, that's just too much, it pushes them
Yeah,
over the edge.
they don't wanna do it. They're like, "No."
No, they don't
And
wanna make
Robin
pie
says that
crust.
yeah, exactly. Robin says tuna has cheese and asparagus. She likes tuna, hot dish with cheese and asparagus. That sounds
Okay,
good.
that kinda sounds like the 4th ring of hell to me, only because like, it sounds super, like, springy because you get asparagus in the spring, but then I'm like, "Okay, I don't know. This is maybe more than you need to know, but there's, like, 90% of the population that gets asparagus pea after they eat asparagus,
That's
and all I can
true.
think of is, like, weird tuna casserole and asparagus pea. No, thank you.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Do you know
Stuart
that's
says
like an enzyme? Like, just
yeah?
like how some people can't eat cilantro because it tastes like soap? There's an enzyme
Yes.
that makes certain people have asparagus pea, but other people don't even know what you're talking about and think you're a nut.
Okay, I didn't know that some people that didn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen to everyone.
It's kinda like, we're, like, way off topic here, but it's kinda like, eating beets and then 12 hours later you think you're dying.
Yep. I'm a cancer survivor, so I've done that maneuver a few times.
You're like ready to
You're
release.
like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Then you're like, oh, it's fine. I just ate beets.
That's so true. Stuart says, give me a starchy, stodgy casserole topping anytime. I love all that stuff. And yeah, I'm Lutheran too.
Okay, Stuart, you also used my favorite word recently because I'm, of course, watching the Great British Bake Off, which I was sort of late to the party. I didn't start watching it till about 5 years ago. It is such a joy. I love this show so much. My husband and I both watch it
Great.
together. I hate competition cooking shows generally. I
Yeah,
kind of like Top
with you.
Chef, and actually, I'm back on Top Chef because I think the new seasons are good. But like generally, I don't want to watch people competing at cooking things. But the Bake Off, they're so earnest, they're so nice, and they have like spotted dick and all these weird things that I've never even heard of before. And they always talk about like the pastry is too stodgy or claggy.
It's so
I just love
true.
the words.
My daughter Anne, who is a chef, pointed out that the other thing with fresh herbs, going back to our conversation about fresh herbs, is dried herbs are often a perfectly good substitute for a lot of things that call for fresh herbs, but it's really important to bloom them in oil first. So you would add them to, like, let's say you're sauteing some garlic and onions and other vegetables. You want to add the dried herbs to the oil and let them like simmer in the oil for a minute or two to open up their flavor. And that's really important.
You always see that in Indian or Asian cooking,
Yeah.
Chinese cooking. They're always blooming the herbs first. It's like the first thing that they do.
So I even do this in dessert recipes. So I have a spice cake recipe on one of my blogs that calls for blooming all the spices in butter before you add it to the batter. And the difference in flavor is huge.
Oh my
Huge.
gosh. Okay. I'm going to grab my casserole just because I need to
Yeah.
brush it now with a little oil.
Let's see if we have any other questions here that I've missed. I'm going to pull mine out of the oven too to show you.
All right. What is happening is the cheese is melting. We're getting a little bubbly wobbly action. And I'm just taking and brushing the top with a little oil. I'm going to cheat. I have extra virgin olive oil spray,
Oh, that's
and I'm
good.
just going to spray. All right. Put it back in. Again, right now the tots have no color. They're cooking, but they have no color on them, and I want them to get that nice crispy brown. So they're going back in for the 10 minutes.
And I'm going to show you all what this looks like when it's all the way done. Let me turn this around here. You can see it's still bubbling.
Oh, cute.
There
It's
we
like a little
are.
mini.
Yes.
If you had those little like La Creuset soup dishes or crocks, you could do it in that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It would be fun to like make like for a Halloween party or something where you're just doing something kind of goofy.
That is a great idea. Well, and you could do, yeah, if you had those little dishes, you could do individual servings.
Yeah. Also, like,
Hot dish for two.
I have all these dishes. I'm a big thrifter because I write cookbooks and I'm styling all of them. So
Look at
these cute little
those.
minis. Yeah.
You could
Any
totally
cute.
do a hot dish in there.
And then just top it with your tots.
Oh, I love it. I want to show you all okay, so the cheese. I know I mean like I've learned that cheese is not always added, but if I was making a hot dish, which I am, I think I would always add cheese. I think always add cheese is just a really good life philosophy if you.
Also, too, like if for dietary reasons you're trying to watch your calories, feel free to sub Parm cheese because it's a hard cheese. It's a lot less caloric, but it packs
Yeah.
a lot of flavor. It's not going to
Yeah.
give you that like cheese robe, but it's going to give you flavor in a less caloric semi-disgusting way, but um, you know.
But so I love this because we've got the cheese and the hamburger and we got pickles,
And this is like what
tater
a
tots.
Juicy Lucy tastes like, because the the roll that they use on a Juicy Lucy is kind of important. And many of the originals use like a big poofy like bun, like almost like a potato roll that kind of squashes down when you hold it. So you're
Okay.
like,
Okay.
ah,
Okay.
yeah,
I
don't
gotta
burn
try
your
it.
face.
I know. Oh, my very first bite of hot dish.
I feel so
Stephanie,
honored.
it's really good.
It's just sort of nostalgic. It's not
I,
complicated.
there's like, I have zero complaints about what is in my mouth right now. It is really, really, really good. Let's see. Lori says I make individual servings of tater tot hot dish a lot for parties, just as a nod to my Minnesota roots.
Yeah. And to just like do something kind of fun and kind of different.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, this is delicious.
So it's supposed to kind of give you that. And I don't know if you ever eat fast food. I eat it in shame in my car alone. But occasionally, if you're in an RV or you're in a van, you have to like eat fast food because sometimes you are at places where there just
Sure.
isn't good food selection.
Yeah, for sure.
And, I occasionally crave a McDonald's cheeseburger. And what I love about it is the pickles with that ketchup and mustard tang. And then the like weird American cheese, the big ploofy bun, and then just a little bit of that very pressed, you're not even sure it's real meat. So this casserole is sort of designed to give you all of that in a mouthful.
It's it's really good.
I'm glad. You know how I knew? Like, I knew it was good because I just know, like, it's going to be good. But then I made it on a TV show here locally. And there's a man named Ben Lieber, and he calls our Minnesota Vikings games. And we're not really friends. I know of him and I've met him before, but he's very fit and he's very large. He's like 6'2". He's a former gopher, I think, or he played football for maybe a professional team. I don't know. But
Yeah.
he's very fit.
Yeah.
And I could see him kind of like looking at this thing and wondering. And then by the time I got done on the segment and by the time I left, he'd literally eaten like 2/3 of the entire pan. He just kept going at it. And he even put a picture on social media like of him eating it. I was like, oh, he's really into it.
You're like, this recipe is a winner.
Yeah. Because if Ben Lieber can eat it, Mr. like super stud muffin health conscious guy, it's good.
That's amazing. I love
Kids
it.
will love it,
Annie says that fast food tastes better alone in your car.
Well, it does because I don't know, like, and no one's really like proud when they run for the border, but occasionally you need to.
That's right.
It is a joke. I told this story on my television show, and some man texted us, and he was like, "I think I've seen that white lady in her car in front of my house eating the Taco Bell." I was like, "Probably me." And it's gotten harder since COVID because, everybody's got cameras and they're a little creeped out about who's in front of their house. So I try to land like not in front of your picture window, kind of a little before and a little behind. So you can't exactly see me.
You have to like put on a disguise like you're hiding
Yeah.
from the paparazzi.
I've got but you can't eat with a mask on. No, it is. And then my husband makes fun of me because he's
Amazing.
like, I saw the bag in the garbage. I was like, well, I wasn't trying to hide it. He was like, oh, really? You weren't? He goes, which day this week did you have a bad day?
John asks, ever think of substituting jalapeno for pickles? And earlier you did mention, I think that, pickled jalapenos, which now that I've tried it, pickled jalapenos would be delicious in there.
Yeah. And the one thing I think, John, that you'd want to do, because you can put the pickled jalapenos in the base, or you could even put it on the top because you would really get a lot of flavor there. But make sure like some of the pickled jalapenos that you buy at the store, they're not like packed in the brine. and some of them are candied. Like you can get different kinds. So I think you need that brine and that hit of acid in order to kind of bring all these flavors home. So just make sure you're getting some sort of vinegary something in there and you'll be good.
Okay, so before we go, Stephanie, I want to so first of all, if you guys don't have this, I mean, you might as well order the first volume and the second volume. It really is like two parts of a whole. And so, but definitely get your hand on this. But tell me what some of your other favorite recipes are from this book.
Yeah, beer cheese wild rice is
Oh yeah.
really like delicious. I love that soup so much. I'm
Yeah.
kind of a soup queen. They call me the soup queen in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Um, I love beef stroganoff in here. I have an old school version. I've got a apple cider braised lamb shanks with a Parmesan risotto, and
Saw
that's
that.
basically all cooked in the oven. A broiled scallop and oven dish that's got rice. I
It
also
looks really good.
traveled to Cambodia and Thailand during the writing of this book. Oh, that's the cranberry orange bread. That's one of my holiday gifts that I give people.
It looks really good.
We had an official book launch last night at the American Swedish Institute Museum, and they made
Oh,
those and gave
wow.
people those to take home.
Oh man, I wish I would have been there. Also, the scallops with
Yeah, and
the
that is based on a supper club recipe from a supper club in Wisconsin called Simpson's. And I
yeah.
was trying to recreate the dish. I love that scallop, but I also love the rice preparation because you just bake it all in the oven. It's real easy.
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed, and I'll tell you, I did what I do with every cookbook that I am drawn into. I read it in one sitting, cover to cover, all the way through, start to finish. And every single recipe, I think every single recipe is a small handful of ingredients and pretty quick and easy. I didn't find
Yeah.
anything that I felt like was complicated or had a lot of ingredients.
I don't want to be too fussy or intimidate people. I also don't want to pretend I'm a professional chef because professional chefs go to chef school, they've got skills. I am a good home cook that makes very delicious food. And that's what the book is. And if that feels like it
Yeah.
resonates with you, and I have my chefy books. I like will pull out something where I'm going to do a weekend project and make like a whole Indian meal from start to finish.
Yeah.
I can do that, but that's not typically how I eat most days. So I really wanted to make it feel my sister Cubby is her name, and she's a terrible cook. And I always kind of use her as my example because she really is terrible. And like, she doesn't know, I can't take shortcuts with her because she doesn't know about food. She doesn't know about ingredients. I have to really kind of be real specific. And
Yeah.
I make her read the book before I send it to the final edit. And she'll
Ah,
be like, I didn't understand what this meant. Like, what is this? How do I find this? So I use
great.
her as my audience.
Yeah.
And it's a good test.
Yeah. No, that's great. I could do the same thing with my daughters. I have one daughter who's a chef and another daughter who would just really, really love to find a life partner who would cook for her every day for the rest of her life so she would never, ever, ever have to do it.
Oh, I love it. That's amazing. Okay. My hot dish is out. It's very bubbly. And my tots are brown. I probably, if I was just doing it myself, I might go in another minute or two. I don't think I had my stove fully heated before we started. But let's see if I can. Can you
Yeah, yeah,
see?
yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
I feel like it's probably gonna taste better in a Minnesota-shaped pan.
Well, I mean, it'll be a little fun. It looks really good though.
It looks
Now I'm here
amazing.
alone. So, like,
Oh,
I'm just
man.
going to
Yeah, no, just
pour
dip right
in
in.
to the
No need
casserole.
for plates or I mean, honestly, if it wasn't hot, you wouldn't even need utensils, Stephanie.
I could just go at it with my hands. Okay, so that pickle. Ooh, look at that
Yeah,
nice
the
pickly chip
cheese. Yes.
with
Delicious.
a little bit of cheese, a little bit of the tater tot.
Yeah, yeah.
I know
Now
I'm
now
going to burn
you now
myself.
you don't burn your face.
Yum.
It's
I love
true.
the brininess of the pickle.
I do too. I feel like without the pickle, like you need that acid in there.
Mhm.
It's really, really important.
A
So
jalapeno would be a good sub.
yeah, jalapeno would be a good sub.
Yum. Oh, really good. I'm real
Well, thank
happy.
you so much, Stephanie, for thank you for doing this. Thank you for introducing me to Hot Dish and
I
helping
feel
me
like
understand
honored. Like I need to get you a medal or a badge or something.
my first Hot Dish. I know. Ask your mom to get me one of those pants.
Yes, I'll find one for you, but maybe I'll find one in Michigan. Isn't that your sweet spot?
Yeah, I mean that's where we are for now. I don't know how long we're going to be here for a few summers at least, I suppose, and
I mean,
then
how
we'll
are you
see.
going to travel with this?
That's true. That's true. I don't really have the storage space for it.
I
I
know
think
you're
what
going
I
to have
need to
to.
do is come visit you, and you can bake me something in your Minnesota shape pan.
I'm happy to anytime.
All
I hope
right,
people will.
everybody, get the
I hope
book.
if you follow me, you'll follow Rebecca on Substack. I hope if you follow Rebecca, you'll follow me. Sundays with Stephanie is my newsletter. I
That's delightful.
basically publish twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, and then sometimes Fridays with the pod. But this has been a blast. And thank you. Pick up the book. If you order it off my website, I can do custom inscriptions. So if you have someone that has a cabin or is getting married, or you want something more personal
Yep.
based on your Midwest roots or clients or friends, just you can order it there and then send me an email and I'll get it shipped right to you. Otherwise, anywhere you buy books, you can find it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And
Hey, thanks.
the recording, if you subscribe to our newsletters, you'll get the recording. We'll send out the link to that. My newsletter goes out every Saturday, so there'll be a recording link in that. And
I'm going to send mine out
yeah,
on Friday if it's okay.
yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a great
Go
night, you
make
guys.
some hot dish.
Okay, bye.
Bye.